In this video, guys, I'm going to talk about autistic people and iPads and 5 hacks that I've found can help improve your life. Coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie world. My name is Dan. I have Aspergers syndrome, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia. I make weekly videos on autism and mental health, so if you're new around here and you'd like to see more videos like this and learn more, remember to hit the subscribe button by clicking the notification bell. Also, if you're watching over on Facebook, make sure to give this page a like and a follow to see daily videos from me. In this video, guys, I'm talking about iPad settings that are going to help improve the lives of people on the autism spectrum, and it's very simple and easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Okay guys, just before we get into the juicy bits of the video, I'd just like to read out some questions and comments and answer some questions that you guys have asked me over on Instagram. Now, if you want me to answer your question on Instagram, head to Instagram, give me a follow, turn the notification bell on, and then you may be in with a chance to be featured in a video just like this when I ask my next questions. Okay, so the first question here is from Christine W. Jacobson, and they said, have you ever found yourself in a situation that you found it difficult to calm yourself down? I have a few times. It normally then leads on to something bigger like a meltdown and stuff that I don't really enjoy that much, obviously a meltdown or like a breakdown or something like that. And yeah, it's going to happen from time to time because you can't predict how your body and your mind is going to treat you every single time you get distressed. Okay, so the next question is from Dina G and 03, and they said, how long did it take you to reach 100,000 subscribers? Congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. It actually took me from January 2018 to August 2019. So yeah, that's how long it took me to get 100,000 subscribers. Okay, the last question here is from CL Burgess 83, and he says, why aren't you diagnosed with autism until you were an adult? Now, I wasn't diagnosed until I was 26 years old because where I lived in Wales, in rural parts of Wales in the United Kingdom, back in the 90s when I was going through assessments and seeing doctors and stuff, it just wasn't possible to diagnose someone with autism here because there wasn't the facilities or the people or the experts. So that's pretty much why. Woo! Gotta take a cheeky drink of water. Yeah, gotta stay hydrated, guys. Gotta stay hydrated. Right. Okay, so I have my iPad here and I'm gonna go through 5 of the best kind of like hacks that I found with this, and I'm going to record the screen and I'll put it on here somewhere. So if I disappear and the screen of the iPad comes up, it's because, well, it's just because I'm doing that for that reason. So the first most amazing part of this whole kind of iPad is you have the speech to text function, which is basically like dictation software. So there's a little microphone button on the iPad, as you can see here at the bottom, and if you tap this, you can enable dictation. And basically I can talk to the iPad and it will produce what I'm saying in text format. Now this is awesome because people who have an issue with like typing and consistency, especially if you have ADHD comorbid with autism and you're trying and you can't sit still enough to type out but you can talk very well, this dictation software built into the iPad is going to be fantastic. This also works with like text messaging on the iPad, or any time you can type on the iPad, this will work with it. So this is a fantastic way to do this. Now also, on the contrary to that, it also has a speak function. So if you highlight the words and then there's a speak function, so you can see that speak. So you can see how I turned it on there. You can click the speak and it will start.
I can talk to the iPad and it will produce what I'm saying in text format. This dictation software built into the iPad is going to be fantastic.
So you can pause it at any time. This actually works with any PDF or any text that is actually tangible on the iPad. That means like if you can touch it and like move things around or like highlight and copy and paste the text, then you can actually highlight it. So what I do with books sometimes, if I haven't got an audio book but I download a PDF, I can highlight the words in the PDF and then you can just press speak and it'll speak the whole thing right out, which is just amazing. Okay guys, so number 2 is actually something very, very interesting. So on the iPad, if you go to your settings and then you scroll down, you see general, and then you click accessibility, then you have a bunch of different things here, and we'll get into accessibility in a minute. Now, one of the best things is the display accommodations. In here, you have something called invert colors. Now, if you click on smart invert, what happens is it gives you this less harsh, dark look for your iPad's kind of settings and displays and stuff like that, as you can see here. This is way easier. It's like dark mode, you know, everyone's got like dark mode on Twitter and YouTube and stuff now. Now the reason I find this very, very helpful is because some people who have sensory processing disorder comorbidly with autism they may get triggered by the lightness of the screen, and especially at nighttime, this can be really daunting, and it can keep you awake and triggered for quite a long time. So having this inverted dark mode is pretty cool. There's also an inverted classic mode, which is slightly different. It does the same type of thing, but you can see like the back screen here is a different color, and it's like less harsh colors. It's just basically inverting all them colors. I think it's a great tool to have, and I really enjoy it. But the function of it just makes it so much easier and less harsh on your eyes, which I find very, very helpful. Okay guys, number 3 is the accessibility of the iPad. Now the iPad, again, if you go to settings, general, and if you scroll down here, you will see something called accessibility. So you can see accessibility, and then basically you have all these different accessibility features, right? You can put large text on if you want large text. There's also the ability to turn everything to bold text. The bold text is on now. You can also reduce or increase the contrast. There's loads of different things. You can switch the controls here. There's assistive touch, which is basically where if you turn assistive touch on, you've got this thing here where you can use that as like you can get access to your home button like this, or you can like double tap it and then get back to kind of like where you were. It's basically like having your home button but on the screen if you really need it. So I find this one very, very useful, especially if you've got like a cover over the buttons. I find it very, very good. So turn assistive touch off. Right, there is something called guided access, and I find this one very, very good, especially for parents. So guided access is basically if you turn this on, right, and you've set a passcode. Let's just guided access passcode. So let's just do 1 2 3 4 zeros, 1 2 3 4 zeros, and basically what it means is that you can lock an app on the screen. So say we wanted to lock on the notes, so you triple tap the home button, and then you've got this guided access, and you click start, and that means that like you can stay on this app, but you can't get off it. The home button doesn't work, and that's it. You're just on this one app. So if you triple tap it again, it'll ask you for your passcode, and then you have options available for like turning on different bits and pieces. So what you can do is you can end guided access, and then you can go back to normal and use the buttons as is. So I find guided access very, very good. It's a very good one for like limiting somebody to just one app if you need it. One of the most amazing parts of the accessibility feature is the voiceover. Now this is very good for people who've got hard of reading. So basically when you turn voiceover on, when you hold over like a piece of text, it'll talk.
Bullet tap once to select an item.
Or so you
bullet to go home. Slide one finger up from the bottom edge until you hear the second sound and lift your finger. Voiceover speaks items.
This thing is super, super awesome. I love it.
Voiceover on. Voiceover on. Voiceover on.
So you can turn it off by triple tapping the screen or double tapping the screen. It gives you all the bits and pieces on here that you can see, and I just find it very, very good. There's also a Braille audio rotor and rotor actions. This is very interesting. I don't know all these settings. If you'd like me to go through all these in another video, give this one a thumbs up and we'll go over it. But I absolutely love the accessibility features of this. It makes it a really good tablet, basically. Okay guys, so number 4 is the Reminders app. Now one thing I am terrible with is remembering to do anything. That's why I have reminders that sets me to do absolutely everything. So I've got like, call work, call my counselor, put the black bin out. All of these things are things that I would forget. Now I think to myself, like if somebody tells me, hey Dan, tomorrow you've got to go here and do this, then I'd forget, just easily forget. But if I hold down the Siri button, hey Siri, remind me to drink water tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Okay, I'll remind you.
So Siri just does it. I just remember to ask my watch or I ask my iPad, and it'll set it into my reminders and sync it. Now the Reminders app is amazing because like you can do like location specific reminders apps. You can be like, remind me to buy bread at Tesco, and then when you get to Tesco or when you get to the shopping market or whatever, it'll know your location and it'll remind you as you're there. It'll be like, bring, buy bread right now from here, blah blah blah. So that is a very, very handy app. The Reminders app has saved my bacon a few times. Okay, so 5th and finally, this one is the word lookup. I love this one. Okay, so we're in Notes. Now, people on the spectrum obviously have difficulty with social communications and understanding flows of conversation. If you're in a chat application or a chat like language or an email or anything like that, and you're talking to and fro with somebody, one of the things I have issues with is knowing what people are saying in what context. Like, how is a word used in a context? Now, if you highlight a word and click select. Then you have the ability to look up that word. So if you click on Lookup, what the iPad does is then it gives you a dictionary and kind of like thesaurus overview of what software is and kind of like an example of it. You can actually go deeper into the dictionary and look at the exact versions of it. And I find this amazing because what you can do is you can listen to it, you can get them to speak it,
software,
so you know how to say it, but then you can also look it up and look how it's used. That is just mind-blowing. Okay guys, so that was just some of the features available on the Apple iPad as it was. Now, these are fascinating abilities that an iPad can do, and this is just the standard. This is an iPad Air, like just an iPad Air 2 or something. I'm actually going to buy the iPad Pro because that does a lot more stuff. I'd like to look at different apps and using the pencil and stuff. So if you guys would like to see a video all about more accessibility and more help for people and apps for people on the autism spectrum, specifically on an iPad, we can do like a more in-depth, detailed version of it with the iPad Pro, looking at better apps, games, and things like that to help people on the spectrum. This is more of like accessibility, how like the basic hardware, like the basic iPad can help somebody on the spectrum. This video was not sponsored by Apple, and I would love to do a video with Apple at some point, but this video is not sponsored by them. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments section below because I read and respond to every single comment and I would love to hear from each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.